federal judge yesterday appeared to be sharply skeptical of the legality of the Trump administration's effort to discipline Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. The Pentagon, as you know, has been pushing to punish Kelly, including taking steps to downgrade his military retirement rank over this video, where the senator and other Democratic lawmakers remind service members of their duty to refuse illegal orders. Lawyers for Kelly argue the actions violate his First Amendment rights. The judge, an appointee of President George W. Bush, seemed poised to side with Senator Kelly, saying the Pentagon is asking him to extend free speech restrictions applied to active duty service members to a retired member of the military. The judge put it this way, quote, "You're asking me to do something the Supreme Court has never done," adding the argument is a bit of a stretch. A ruling in the case is expected as early as next week. And Senator Kelly joins us now. He's a member of the Armed Services Committee and, of course, served as a captain in the United States Navy and as a NASA astronaut. Senator, thanks so much for being with us. So I'm curious what you took away from that hearing yesterday. Obviously, something the judge said yesterday has been said many times in these weeks since the story came about by defenders of the First Amendment, by military leaders of past generations, those not enthralled to Donald Trump. What did you take away from that meeting?
Well, I spent a little over an hour there in court, and I was sticking up for the constitutional rights of over 2 million retired service members. But really, Willie, all of us, 350 million Americans. This administration didn't like that I was doing my job. There was something I said that they didn't even like, even though it was in the law, in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And for that, now they say they're going to demote me and take away some of my pension. So I was in court yesterday. I saw the arguments on both sides. Hey, you know, it's pretty clear to me, and I think it's clear to many Americans out there, especially a lot of retired service members, that the law and the Constitution is on my side here.
I want to remind our viewers something we've been showing clips of over the last several weeks. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in 2016 saying the following: "You're not just going to follow that order if it's unlawful. The military is not going to follow illegal orders. The U.S. military will not follow unlawful orders from their commander-in-chief." And finally, said Hegseth, "I do think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes. If you're doing something that's just completely unlawful and ruthless, there is a consequence for that." Again, that is the word of Pete Hegseth in 2016, now pursuing this against you under completely different circumstances and pretenses. So I'm curious, you touched on it a bit, but what you've been hearing from your fellow retired members of the military, or frankly active military, about this case?
Well, I've heard from both, and I've heard there's a lot of people on my side because they get it. You know, service members know this. They're trained on this. They know this is the law. It was a friendly reminder. And, you know, on Pete Hegseth, like, what happened to that guy? I mean, he said the same thing back in 2016 that we said this year. But when I say it, despite having worn the uniform for 25 years and flying in combat and flying into space, defending, you know, just for my country. In the case of flying in combat, defending the country and the Constitution, he's going to go after me for saying the exact same thing that he said less than a decade ago. I mean, this is hypocrisy at its highest level. And I've made it very clear to them, I am a U.S. Senator. I'm still going to do my job. I'm on the Armed Services Committee, and I'm going to fight this. And I'm fighting this not just for me. I mean, I'm fighting this for the other 2 million retired service members out there, who some have told me already that they have changed what they say publicly because this administration is attacking me. Think about that for a second. This is the First Amendment in the Constitution. We have a right, all of us, to be able to speak out against the government. And they're trying to take that away from me. And that's going to have a chilling effect on everybody.
So, Senator Kelly, do you think there's a larger issue here, and the larger issue would be the judgment of a sitting Secretary of Defense?
Well, of course, I've spoken about this a lot. I didn't vote for Secretary Hegseth. Some of the things that he has said publicly, but also, somewhat publicly to active duty senior officers and enlisted, I find very objectionable, and not the language that I've ever heard from any leader in the Department of Defense. So, yeah, I see there's an issue with the guy at the top. He's got tremendous power and influence. And I think we're seeing the results of somebody who I feel was unqualified for the job.
So, Senator, of course, Secretary Hegseth, part of the leadership team right now, considering what to do about Iran. And that's where we wanted to turn you now. You sit on the Armed Services Committee. The president has been having talks at the White House. There are negotiations that seem to be on for later this week, although there's some suggestion they might get postponed to reach some sort of diplomatic resolution. What would your recommendation be in terms of the right approach here as the president continues to make clear to Tehran that military operations are on the table?
Well, I think it's good to talk to him at this point. I mean, we want the regime to go. I mean, they have oppressed the Iranian people since, 1979. It's a murderous regime. And the uprisings lately have been a positive development. I mean, is it enough to be the tipping point that we need to push the mullahs, Khamenei, to push him out, to get him out of the country? I'm not so sure. I've been talking to a lot of Iranian Americans about this. Sometimes it feels like this is moving in the right direction, but the brutality and the violence from that regime against the Iranian people is having an effect. I mean, they're getting murdered in the streets. So we're going to have to see. I think it's good to talk to them, but I would encourage the Iranian people to fight for their rights. They've been oppressed too long, and something needs to change there. And with regards to the Iranian military at this point, harassing one of our battle groups, obstructing tankers, these are dangerous actions that they're taking. And if they continue to do it, there should be a response, and I expect there will be.
Senator Kelly, good morning. It's Ali Vitale here in Washington. I want to take it back to the politics of Capitol Hill, because I think now that the funding bill has passed, there's an open question of what negotiations around the Department of Homeland Security will yield. I had a House Democrat on my show this morning saying 9 days is not nearly enough for us to get through this complex negotiation. So I'm wondering for you, what would it take to get you to yes on DHS funding? And is another continuing resolution potentially on the table if you feel like talks need more time?
Well, I didn't vote for the last one. It's going to take a lot for me. I mean, this agency has, gone rogue. Its budget is way overbloated. It's approaching the size of the Marine Corps. They're hiring a massive amount of people, and it's pretty obvious to me they're not training them well. They're wearing tactical gear as if they were in Fallujah as special operators, tactical helmets and fatigues and vests on the outside, military equipment to intimidate, and then they put masks on so nobody knows their identity. No name tags. We've got to get rid of the masks. They should be wearing body cameras, all of them, all of the time. And right now, they need to get out of Minneapolis and really reevaluate, what this agency should be. Kristi Noem needs to be fired, by the way. That's a good starting point here. And the senior leadership there, the ones that have implemented these policies, these people need to go.
Senator Kelly, before we let you go, I want to ask you about a story that's deeply personal to many of us, and I know to you as well, because Arizona roots, you and your wife, Gabby, are close friends with Savannah Guthrie and her family. Any message to the public today on this case and just how you and are feeling about what's happening to a dear friend of yours?
Yeah, no, it's tragic. I woke up 3 a.m. Last night. I've been up ever since just thinking about it. It is a tragic situation. And I do have a message for anybody watching this. If you have any information, even if you really think it's not relevant, please contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department or the Tucson Police, if that's easier for you to get to, or the FBI, and share that information. You might think it's not important, not irrelevant, but a little tip there can help them find Savannah's mom.
And that's what the sheriff's been saying. No tip is too small. Nancy Guthrie needs to come home. We appreciate your work on this, Senator. Retired U.S. Navy Captain, Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. Thanks for your time this morning.
You're welcome.